Hey guys, welcome back to another YouTube video. So today we're going to be stripping down the engine, the M10 engine, out of my BMW E30. If you watched the last video, you'll see we've pulled the engine out of the car. We've now got it into the garage, nice dry conditions in here, and we're going to strip it down. So the engine is seized. We've tried to turn it by the crank and it is having none of it. So we basically need to strip it down, find out why it's seized and if it can be fixed.
The first step was to remove the rocker cover, and this would then give us access to the bolts which held the head in place. We then removed the timing chain cover and started to undo the sprocket which was part of the timing, and then just tucked the chain to one side so it didn't fall down. The next step was to remove the intake manifold. This was just to reduce a bit of weight and basically just get it out of the way so it wasn't causing any issues. Then we could actually take the head off, which would give us a better view of the valves underneath and would let us see the cylinders and pistons.
Right, so we've got the engine stripped down now, and there's a couple of issues that we've seen. First one, there was a bent valve. All the others look fine, but straight off you can see that one of the valves is bent. Taking the head off, and we're looking at the pistons sat in the cylinder and they are seized in there, so I'll show you that now. So you can see here, obviously, there is sort of like red in there. Same on this one as well. So obviously it looks like it's overheated at some point, and that is what is causing it to seize basically.
Then we decided to turn the engine over and remove the oil pan or sump, whatever you want to call this part. We wanted to do this to see if anything was causing the pistons to seize in the cylinder from the underneath. But taking off the oil pan here, you could actually see there was a crack in it.
Took the oil pan off, didn't seem to be anything sort of stopping the piston from moving here, but obviously when we're looking at the top, you can see straight away it's sort of like well seized in there. Almost looks a bit rusty, but the red normally an indication for overheating. So there's two options that we've got really. The first one is to get the pistons out, either bore them for bigger pistons, which is obviously more money to buy more pistons, or we could get them honed and potentially put the new pistons back in, reseat the valves, build it back up, but it's going to need new gaskets. It's going to need a lot of money putting back into it, and considering that I don't want this to be the engine that's going in it forever, I do want to put a bigger engine in it at some point. I'm not really that bothered about spending the money on this, so I did buy, and I'll show you here, I bought another engine, and this engine I was going to use because on this engine here, there was a crack in the oil pan, the sump, the oil pan, whatever you want to call this. There was a crack in it, so I originally bought this engine to replace that with, but now that this engine seems a non-goer, I think we test the compression on that one, and if the compression is good enough on that one, we basically use that engine and drop that engine back in the car. So let's test the compression.
Okay, so I just wanted to move the engine in the garage to allow me a little bit more room to work on it.
So that big one there lines up with that big one.
The next step was to put the flywheel back on and then attach the starter motor so we could basically turn the engine over for the compression test.
Flywheel is on, starter motor is on. Basically just need to connect the battery up now, then we can get the compression tester on. We'll see what compression we've got in each cylinder. The hose goes into both ends. You've got different connectors to go into where the spark plugs go to. This is the right size for ours. So yeah, I'll take this out. That just push fits into there, and then that will just screw into there, and then that just goes finger tight into your spark plug hole, and then you turn it over and it'll tell you your compression. It's only coming up less than 30 psi that.
We knew that the battery we were using wasn't great, so we decided to swap this out for a brand new one that had just come off charge. The engine had been sat for a while as well, so we decided to spray some easy oil into the cylinders just to loosen up those piston rings.
Okay. 175 psi.
That seems to have done the trick. We're getting the psi that we need. Let's check the other ones.
That'll bloody do. 135. That's the number 2. Yep, same again. 100, 140. 140. 160. Right, so we managed to get compression on the spare engine, which means we're going to use it. You know, it's got the compression. We'll put everything back on it from the original engine out the car, and fingers crossed it should run. If you do want to see more videos like this one, please like and subscribe. It goes a long way helping me out to make these videos. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.